is not a diplomat.
You asked for someone who could talk.
The room was too quiet. Aria Voss sat alone at a long metal table, the kind used for interrogations, not diplomacy. 3 screens flickered in front of her, each showing the same message from Threshold Station, a place no human had ever seen. Only one line mattered. All representatives must arrive unarmed. She read it twice. Then she laughed, low and humorless. They want a diplomat, she muttered. I've never negotiated anything in my life that didn't end in a body count. The door opened. Command didn't ask her opinion. They never did. You leave in 6 hours, the officer said, sliding a folder across the table. No explanation, no comfort, just orders, the way soldiers like Aria had always received them, cold, final, and absolute. She didn't argue. She never did. That was the thing about people like her. The galaxy expected humans to break under pressure, to beg, to panic. They didn't understand yet. Humans didn't survive by being strong. They survived by refusing to stop, even when every reason said they should. 6 hours later, she stood at the shuttle bay, stripped of every weapon she'd ever trusted. No sidearm, no blade. Nothing but her hands and whatever was left inside her, when everything else was taken away. A young technician jogged up, breathless, holding a sealed envelope. Orders said to give you this before launch, he said. Only open it if... He hesitated. If what? Aria asked. He swallowed hard. If they try to kill you first? She took the envelope without a word, feeling its weight settle in her palm like a held breath. The shuttle doors closed behind her. Somewhere out there, in a station built by no one still alive, something was waiting. And it had no idea what Earth had actually sent. Part 2, Threshold Station, rose out of the void like something forgotten by time. No one knew who built it. No one alive could say why it still worked, why the lights still hummed after 10,000 years of silence. It simply existed, ancient and patient, waiting for species desperate enough to meet inside it. Aria stepped off the shuttle into a hall filled with grace. Robed figures moved like water, calm and practiced, every gesture rehearsed for peace. Diplomats from a dozen worlds bowed to each other, soft voices exchanging soft words. And then there was Aria, plain fatigues, no ceremony, eyes scanning exits the way a soldier always did, even in a room full of strangers who called themselves peaceful. She felt the whispers before she heard them. Why did Earth send a soldier? She said nothing. Silence was a weapon too, one nobody had taken from her. Across the hall, a towering figure watched her closely. Caliph, armored in black crystal, scales, veins of blue energy pulsing beneath his skin like a warning. His empire was dying, and dying things trusted no one. His eyes narrowed on Aria, unreadable, waiting to see what kind of creature Earth had actually sent. The ceremony began. Lights dimmed. Words of peace filled the air. Then, without warning, a blade flashed toward the human seat. Time slowed. Before station security even moved, before the crowd could scream, Aria was already there. Wrist locked, blade turned, attacker pinned to the floor in less than a heartbeat. The room fell silent. No panic. No hesitation. Just controlled, terrifying calm. Caliph rose slightly from his seat, eyes wide now, no longer suspicious, afraid. Because in that single second, everyone in that ancient hall finally understood something the galaxy had gotten wrong about humans all along. They didn't send soldiers to survive war. They sent something worse. The chamber erupted into noise. She is a spy, someone shouted. Proof that Earth cannot be trusted with peace. Voices rose from every corner, robes shifting in anger, fear spreading faster than truth ever could. Aria stood still in the center of it all, calm as stone. I am not a spy, she said, voice steady, cutting through the noise. I am what happens when a species learns to survive long before it learns to negotiate. On Earth, our diplomats and our soldiers are often the same person. We send warriors to talk because warriors are the ones who lived long enough to have something worth saying. The chamber went quiet. No one had an answer for that. Calith watched her from his seat, and for the first time his expression wasn't suspicion. It was curiosity, sharp, focused, alive. He rose and requested a private audience. Aria agreed without hesitation. In a quiet chamber away from the crowd, Calith spoke low. "The attack was not random," he said. "Someone on this council wants war, not peace. And Earth was chosen on purpose, to be blamed when it happens." Aria's expression didn't change, but something inside her sharpened. Alone again, she remembered the envelope. Her fingers found the seal and broke it open. Inside, a single line waited for her, written in Command's cold, careful hand. "If they try to frame you, remember, you were never really unarmed." She read it twice. Then she understood. They hadn't sent her without a weapon. They had sent her as one. Part 4. The truth hit Aria like a blade to the chest. This was never a peace summit. It was a trap, carefully built, patiently waited for. Someone wanted war, and they needed a species to blame for starting it. Earth had been chosen long before the invitation was ever sent. She had 12 hours. After that, the council would vote. And if she couldn't prove the truth, Earth would be painted as the instigator of a war it never wanted. 12 hours to save a planet that didn't even know it needed saving. Calith found her in the shadows of the station's lower halls. "I can help you," he said. "But if I'm caught helping a human against my own council, I lose everything. My standing, my empire, my life." "Then why help me?" Aria asked. His eyes glowed faintly. "Because dying empires don't get to choose who tells the truth. Only that someone does." Together they moved deeper into the station, past locked doors and dead systems, until they reached a restricted archive buried beneath layers of forgotten history. Inside, data flickered to life, recordings, hidden messages, proof of a conspiracy, built to burn an entire species for someone else's war. Aria's hands moved fast, pulling files, copying evidence, racing against a clock she couldn't see but could feel ticking in her chest. Then the room went dark. A heavy mechanical groan echoed through the archive as the doors sealed shut behind them, locking with a finality that silenced even Calith's breathing. They were trapped. And somewhere above them, in a chamber neither could reach, the countdown to war had just dropped under 3 hours. The archive doors blew open. Armed figures poured in, weapons raised, faces hidden behind dark visors, soldiers loyal to the conspirators, sent to erase the evidence and everyone who had seen it. Calith froze. "We're finished," he whispered. "We have no weapons." Aria didn't move. Not yet. The first shot fired. She was already gone from where she stood, moving low and fast, closing the distance before the attacker could aim again. Her hand caught his wrist, twisted hard, and the weapon became hers before he even understood what had happened. This was the moment the galaxy never saw coming. Humans looked fragile, soft skin, no armor, no claws, no natural weapons at all. For centuries, other species had assumed that meant humans were weak. They were wrong. Fragile things that survived a hostile world didn't survive by being strong. They survived by never stopping, no matter what stood in their way. One by one, the attackers fell. Not from cruelty, but from precision, control. A mind that stayed calm while everyone else panicked. Aria moved through the chaos like something built for exactly this moment, shielding Calith with her own body, protecting the evidence like it was the only thing left worth protecting. When the last attacker dropped, the archive was silent again. Calith stared at her, breathless. "What are you?" Aria didn't answer. There wasn't time. She grabbed the evidence and ran, blood on her sleeve, breath ragged, every second slipping away toward the vote that would decide her planet's fate. She burst into the council chamber just as the final voices rose to authorize the strike. bloodied, breathless. Seconds from being too late. BSRT-6. The council chamber froze the moment Aria walked in. Blood on her sleeve, evidence in her hand, silence following her like a shadow. "Stop the vote," she said, and something in her voice made every single delegate obey without question. She placed the evidence before them, recordings, proof, the truth laid bare for every species to see. The conspiracy unraveled in real time. The true instigators exposed before the council that had almost condemned an innocent planet to war. Shock rippled through the chamber. Not fear this time. Understanding. Kaleith rose to his feet, standing tall before his own people. "We asked for diplomats," he said, believing peace required softness. "We were wrong. Peace requires survival. It requires someone who can withstand betrayal, violence, and lies, and still bring back the truth." He turned toward the council. "Earth's seat remains, not despite what she is, because of it." Every eye turned to Aria, bloodied but unshaken, standing exactly where she had always intended to stand. She looked at them all and spoke the words that would echo far beyond that chamber. "You asked for someone who could talk," she said quietly. "Earth sent someone who could survive long enough to be heard." Later, as the station calmed, Earth's flag rose beside the others, a quiet, unspoken promise. This would not be the last time the galaxy asked for something soft, and it would not be the last time Earth answered differently than expected. Deep within the station's core, hidden from every eye, a signal flickered to life. Someone from the conspiracy had survived, and they were not finished yet.